Hello, this is Malka Grant back with another news update on Afghanistan. President Trump has announced peace talks with the Taliban. He is attempting to end America's longest war by negotiating with Taliban leaders, but the situation on the ground has been very violent still, so the talks have been postponed. Right now, there are three main groups that control Afghanistan: the Taliban, the government, and ISIS. Taliban and ISIS are Islamic military groups, while the government is just the people that are in charge of Afghanistan. Usually there is turmoil in the country, but as of right now, there is peace between these three factions. The government only really has control over the government compound. Past that, the Taliban controls most of the territory. The Taliban claims that it has control over more land than ever before, and that they have about 80% of Afghanistan under their grasp. Taliban leaders believe that the reason the war is still going is because of the US and NATO or foreigners. One Taliban fighter stated that as long as there is one American in Afghanistan, the invasion is not over. Overall, the Taliban seems to be very opposed to the US soldiers in Afghanistan, and that if the NATO and US were to leave, there would already been peace. As mentioned earlier, ISIS is another main group, but the government has deemed that they now have no control over any territory in Afghanistan. ISIS disagrees, however, and believes that they will come out victorious in the end. ISIS seems to recruit ex-Taliban fighters and claims that once the peace treaty by the US is signed, many Taliban fighters will come join ISIS. Just like the Taliban, ISIS also does not like the US occupation in Afghanistan. Their message to the US is that they need to get their soldiers and NATO out of the country because they will succeed. Mullah Baradar, co-founder of the Taliban, believes that the United States has made a huge mistake by coming and waging war in Afghanistan. He believes this because their main target, Osama bin Laden, is dead, but yet they are still fighting, and Mullah sees this as a little reason for the US's invasion at this point. He believes that the Taliban are obliged to fight because it is their country and they need to protect it with their lives. When ISIS was brought up, Mullah believes that the Taliban are leading the fight against ISIS, not the government. He also stated that the war will end once the U.S. withdraws its forces from Afghanistan, as he believes that the war would have not taken 18 years if the U.S. didn't intervene. The situation between the U.S. and Taliban seems to be cooling down, though, which is favorable for most people in Afghanistan, as most citizens want peace for their war-torn country. The United States has been in a war in Afghanistan for 18 years, and now we finally get to see it come to a conclusion. These peace talks introduced by President Trump have helped seal the deal to end this war. The Taliban have never been more cooperative with the United States, so President Trump is taking this opportunity to end this long battle. This has been Malka Grant with news on Afghanistan. Thanks for listening in.